This is the $1 Million Rap Shop Podcast.
Hey guys, what's up? This is the $1 Million Rap Shop Podcast, and this is Brent Tatum, your host. And as always, I have Tabitha, my beautiful, lovely wife, with us.
Who's feeling a little flustered today.
That's all right. This will go perfectly with today's topic. So today's topic is going to be the days that make you a better owner. I really wanted to call it something else, but I wanted to keep it positive because this week has been a week.
Yeah, for you.
It has. And maybe it's spilling over into you a little bit.
Well, I did arrive so we could do the podcast early, and then we had some internet issues, and then the very exact room that we're going to be doing our podcast, that we're currently doing our podcast in, we had to evacuate so that way he could do the work, and I have
IT guy had to come in and do his thing.
Yeah, and I have all kinds of things that need to be done, and I haven't done them yet, and they're looming in my head, and yeah, so now I guess I feel a little bit like you do.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Well, I'm really excited about today's topic because I think every business owner, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what business you're in, we've all experienced this. And maybe you've had one of the weeks where everything just seems to happen all at once. Like just whatever could go wrong is going wrong. It's customer issues that pop up. It's equipment breaking. It's, looking over budget things. Your schedule is nuts. Employees have questions and the phones won't stop ringing. Like it's just a lot sometimes. And I've definitely had a week like this. And what I try to do as, while doing this podcast is I try to take the things that I go through and kind of flesh them out here on the podcast and shed light on situations. And then also to let you know, like, we all kind of go through the same thing. And I think for me, it's
you're not perfect?
No, and I don't want to be.
I mean, you're perfect for me.
I hope so. I better be.
Until you're not.
What? You better take that back.
You're always perfect for me. Even in the hard times, you're still perfect.
But before you threw me off track, what I was saying was, we always see like the good side of people's business, like online, like when they're posting stuff, you always see like the good things, and you never really get to see like the things that go wrong. And we all go through it. Like just because your life looks perfect on social media, I know you still go through the same things that I do because we all own businesses, and usually they all come with the same challenges. And so that's what I kind of wanted to talk about today. From the outside, like I was saying, people see a successful business, but from the inside, you're just trying to make good decisions one after another, and you're just trying to like hold it all together sometimes. And it feels like that. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today.
So you mentioned this week that it had a little bit of everything. Without getting into specifics, what happened? And when I say a little bit of everything, I'm talking about the things that you were talking about earlier about that some of the things that sometimes
we just
goes wrong.
Just as a business owner, some days you just have curveballs that come at you, and you have to figure out how to handle it. Whether it's an upset client, whether it's miscommunication. What?
You remember that movie that we took the kids to see, the one with the emotion? You remember the guy with the angry...
Inside Out?
Yeah, Inside Out. And he's got the angry fire. Whenever, for some reason, whenever you said that, I just thought about like the Inside Out guy with the angry hair. And he's like,
I don't think I was quite there this week, but...
No angry hair?
Yeah,
angry fire hair.
It's just one of those weeks where it's not like one big thing that happens. It's just all the little things, they start to add up. And then before you know it, you're questioning, like, why am I doing this? Or what's going on? Unexpected issues on client vehicles, maybe something happened in production. Maybe there was some reprints that shouldn't have happened. Maybe there were employee issues that they couldn't control or you couldn't control. It just happens. Or maybe you've made a bad decision as a business owner and you realize it and you're having to pay for it now. And so like we carry a lot of that weight, and it does eat away at your happiness day to day and your joy. And
So I should have brought another joke today. Is there like this would be a good day
no,
for
what
it?
was the one you were saying earlier that you were telling the kids?
It was funny though.
Something about the beard.
Oh, the sickness.
Oh, this. Oh, yeah.
Oh, dang it. I gave the whole thing away.
Oh.
I
I don't even
can't use
remember it now.
Never mind. Can't even use it because I already gave away the punchline. Anyways.
But
So,
what I will say is that every one of the experiences that we kind of go through, they all teach us something.
mhm.
Whether it's how to build better processes, how to be a better leader or a manager, or how to just discipline yourself to not react so harshly towards things and just kind of roll with the punches.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what you have to do.
I can understand that. Sometimes with our daughter, sometimes she'll get really, she's in a situation where she'll get really upset really easily.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like it's the worst thing happening. And it's something as simple as like she just didn't get a sticker at the drive-through, like we go through Chick-fil-A or somewhere and they forgot to put the toy in there. And then and she's at the age where she doesn't even care about those toys that much,
Yeah.
you would think, but like she's like, oh, I have the worst day, and then she's like crying. And I think that as we get older and like progress, and we're kind of like, oh, it's not really that big of a deal. But for her, it seems like the end of the world because she hasn't really experienced that and she's still really emotionally attached to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that whenever you can start to think more logically with your business and not be so emotionally attached, then not that you don't care about your business, but that you can again, it's that shift in the mindset that
Right.
you were talking about.
Well, I think you're talking about like the little things, like she was reacting to something that was really small. I've caught myself in the past to where you have these little things that happen during the week, and maybe maybe they're not so little, but they just start to build and build and build. And then let's say somebody does something very minute, like it's the smallest mistake or it's just the smallest thing. And then you fly off the
Explode.
handle because it's not just that little thing. And then it confuses everybody around like, well, why did he blow up? It was so small. And this and this and this happened this week and he didn't react at all.
Right.
But it's because everything is building.
And you haven't had a release of some sort.
And that poor person just got the brunt of it, for their little mistake or whatever could have happened.
Right.
And that's just what happens sometimes. And I do think a lot about how the difference between a kid and an adult is really like you have to control your emotions. And that's a big difference, because when you're immature and you're kids, you don't have that ability to control those emotions. They just come out.
I just feel like I'm on an episode without realizing it of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
You think the podcast is like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Yeah, because like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was like the show that it was specifically tailored to children trying to deal with their emotions, what they were feeling and why and how, so they could process them better.
Right.
And I feel like maybe this is the adult version right now.
Could be,
of
yeah.
like, okay, it's okay to feel that. It's okay.
That was Dr. Phil.
Yeah, no, you got it. But it's okay. It's like, it's saying that legitimately when you're feeling those things, it's okay.
Right.
And you can feel those things, but you do have to let them go. And you have to be able to like move forward.
Right.
You've got to process it. And I think part of it is just that shift in mentality to realize that what was meant to be a problem or was a problem is not just a problem, but it's something that you're going to come to later and say is a tuition, which that's getting ahead of myself. But
well, that does lead right into the next question.
Well,
so it's perfect.
So instead of asking, why is this happening? You're asking, what is this teaching us? All those problems.
Yeah. Like every budget issue teaches planning. Every employee issue is teaching you how to be a better leader. But it's also how you frame it too. You can let it ruin your day, or you can let it teach you something. And that's where you should go with it. you know, usually when there's a problem in the business and it's something you can't control, it does expose a weakness or a flaw
Hmm.
that maybe you do need to work on. And for me, that's honestly, that's how I learned.
Right.
Whenever we first opened the business, there weren't all these training videos or people on YouTube telling you how to run a business or any of those things.
Especially not this kind of business. It's
Right.
so
But
niche
any at all. But
specific.
now we have like Rap Shop Academy, we have Rap IQ, we have the Rap Institute, and now like 3M and UASG, like they're starting to step up and offer some training tools. And we just didn't have those things in the past. And so that's what I really love about these guys that are doing this in our industry, how they're making business an important topic in the wrap industry, and not just like, hey, what film are you using, or who can wrap the hood the fastest, or who can, do a corner without a wrinkle. Like those things are important. But after all of that, like if you don't know how to run a business and you can't handle things that are thrown at you, it don't matter how good or how fast you are as an installer or as a designer, because none of that's going to exist, because
Right.
the foundation of the business will have to be laid down at some point. And it can't be, if you're a great designer or a great installer, like those are pillars of the business for sure, and those will help you. But you have to be able to have that third pillar, which is like the business side of things. You have to be able to have a good foundation, so you can continue to build and scale upon that, so your skills can be used effectively. Um, so that's a huge thing.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts? I just said a lot right there, huh?
Well, you did say a lot, but I was just kind of thinking about how this can. I know some of your employees,
Mhm.
our team,
Right?
they watch some of the episodes as well.
They better.
Even,
No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding. Yeah.
Well, thank you if you do. We we love you guys, but I think that goes for every position too.
Mhm.
That sometimes in the situation that sometimes there's the situations where you're dealing with something and you didn't realize that you had an issue with something until it comes up, and then you're like, oh wow. And we have to have grace for each other in
Right.
different positions. And then there's also a part where sometimes where we're growing as a team, we're growing as a company, and then we start to realize, okay, this area is getting bottlenecked, or this person's like having too much stress. Like, how can we alleviate that? Because I know when like something that we had talked about before was that, like, even like production, for instance, was starting to get a lot going on this week
Mhm.
for them. So like if we see that production's getting really busy, or installation, like sometimes you jump on installs,
Right.
and that's not the ideal because you need to be running things, but sometimes you've there's got to be an alleviation of the problem somewhere, and when you're the boss too, sometimes you're the person,
Mhm.
because you've worn every hat, and you
Right.
can wear every hat. Or and I see that happens really well with our team, is that even at the front desk with reception, that if someone if the one person is on the phone and someone walks in the door, then someone else will jump up and go help that person. So it helps to alleviate. And I think so just having grace for each other in different positions, and having an eye open to just notice that it's just like for you're talking about the business owner aspect for other people to build, sustain, grow, but just also know that your team is also experiencing those things in their different departments as well.
Yeah, from their own perspective and in
Right.
their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
And
go ahead.
what I was going to say is the one thing we try to really let our team know is that everybody is super important.
Yeah.
Especially when you're smaller. If it's just like 3-4 of you, or 5 or 6, that's a small team, and everybody's position is really important because they're all filling very important shoes. And when one of those are down, or one of those aren't performing, it affects everybody. And so it's very important as an owner to make sure that everybody has that perspective. Like you're talking about, when someone comes in the door, someone calls, and reception is either out to lunch, or they're in the bathroom or whatever, then that the person who is right there, they will jump up and
Right.
grab the customer.
They're team oriented. They're not saying like,
Right.
that isn't my job.
Right.
Why am I gonna, because hey, if someone keeps doing that so long, like that's not my job. Why would I do that? And you're not team oriented, then guess what happens? The whole team fails, because now you might have missed that particular big next job that walked through the door. Or maybe it was a test. It was a little job to see if you could do the little job to get the big job.
Right.
Or there's a connection there. And so like if we're worried about, well, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to help because that's not my position, which we don't have that problem here at our team. I just want to make sure that even anybody in our team that's seeing this, we don't have that issue. We have a very team mentality, and that actually crosses over from one location to the next, which is absolutely wonderful.
What I like to tell them is, like, if we're in a meeting and I'm trying to explain this, it's like, it's more than just like us here at the office. It's more than 12 or 15 employees or however many you have. It's their families, it's their spouses, it's their kids. It's all of those things. And every decision that's made inside the business, it affects not just the business, but it can also affect the families that are attached to the business and their income or their sanity or their family time, peace. Like, it affects all of those things. And so I try to really stress the importance of, hey, like, I'm not telling you have to be perfect, but I'm telling you, like, whenever you make a mistake, you really have to understand that it doesn't just affect you or just the job, but it can affect everybody here. We're all tied together in this, because whatever design does affects printing, and what printing does affects production, and production affects install. So they're all kind of tied together. And so that's how we try to keep that team mentality together, because we are a close family here.
Right.
And I like that. I like having that sort of culture, but it helps the employees to see, like, it's not just me, but it's all of us together.
And so when things go wrong, then we can all jump in and help each other, whether it's in one department or if it's the whole team, whatever. And so jumping back to you though, where you were talking about just all the different things that went wrong, and so taking those problems and becoming solutions. I've noticed over the years that you don't seem to panic nearly as much as you used to. Why do you think that is?
Well, you learn how to deal with it better. You learn that tomorrow's still going to come, and you learn that time will pass and that things will eventually work out. But the more you deal with issues and problems, the more confident you get within yourself that you can handle it. Really, there's not much that I haven't seen as an owner. And if you're a shop owner as well, or you own any business that's even not in the wrap industry for any length amount of time, you've probably seen a lot of issues that will repeat themselves over and over again. Hopefully not too much, but when you see something come up, it doesn't really surprise you like it did when you were first starting or when you were early on. Like, you get the confidence.
So you're kind of saying that experience changes the perspective.
It does. And confidence is believing, like, it isn't believing that nothing bad will happen, because things will happen, but it's knowing that you'll figure it out when it does. And it's also knowing that the team that you've built will figure it out as well.
Yeah.
And that's very encouraging as a business owner on the days that you do feel defeated, because they will come. Like, there are days that I feel defeated sometimes, and
that's when you tell me, and then I say, you got this, babe.
Well, you get the tail end of it. But what I wanted to say is that on those days when I feel defeated, my team does a great job of backing me up. And, one of them will be like, hey, like, we got this. Don't worry. Like, don't worry. We'll handle it. You go take care of what you got to take care of. Well, we got this.
Right.
And so it's very encouraging. It's very, I don't want to say relaxing. What is it? What is the word I'm looking for? It's very reassuring. There we go. It's very reassuring to know that you've built a team that will help support you. And that's very important when you're building your team. Yeah.
And each other. Yeah. So would you say confidence comes from surviving hard weeks?
I think so. Like I said before, confidence isn't believing that something bad will happen, because things will happen, but you just kind of learn how to roll with the punches a little bit better. And you get better at having thicker skin
Mm-hmm.
to know that things, don't take things so personally, because it's not really aimed at you. It's the business. It's just the nature of the business. It's the nature of dealing with people in
Mm-hmm.
general. And some things you can't control. The things that you can control the heck out of them. The things that you can't control, let them go.
So if someone were to follow you around all week,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think would surprise them the most?
They would probably be surprised about how many things I do in a week. Like not many things, like as in like a lot of tasks, but how many different things that I would have to take care of in a week. Things that you don't really see if you're not a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
You
Well,
know?
I think it's kind of like, okay, if you did just installs before, then you saw that, oh, wow, at the end of the day, I have a finished wrap.
Mhm.
Or if you're doing production, at the end of the day, I have all this trimmed out. I printed this, I trimmed it out, I laminated it. You see a finished product. At reception, you see jobs coming in, phone calls taken, design. I designed this amount of wraps this week and got these approved. So each position has something. They have like a finished product that they can look at and see. And I feel like this kind of even like makes me understand maybe your role a little bit more, is because like you're saying how many different things that you do that people don't really see that you do, because you don't have a finished product for them to literally visually see. But it's kind of like me at home as a mom. Do you know how many dishes that I wash that nobody even knows why they have a clean dish in the cabinet? Or all the clothes that they just magically get out of the closet.
They magically
They just
appear.
They have clean clothes and they're just like, wow. Or the towels. There's towels in the...
Well, I would help you with the towels, but you fold them a certain way.
I'm not talking about you not helping. No. I'm not saying
okay.
that. This is no dig to you. I'm just saying the fact that there's things that happen in our home that nobody sees me physically doing, but somehow I'm always busy.
But they would notice if you didn't do them.
Right.
Yeah.
Then the ball drops and everybody's like, they go to get a towel. They're sopping wet. There's no towel. They go to put, clothes. I don't have any underwear.
There's no toilet paper.
There's no toilet paper in the bathroom. There's no paper towels in the kitchen.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Heads are falling off.
That was a movie quote.
I just like to I like to think about all the different things and all the different people who could be possibly watching. There's probably a wife or a mom that's watching right now. I hope that maybe you're the guy that likes to watch this stuff because you have a business or you're considering having a business, or you have a niche, maybe you have a niche business that's not exactly like a wrap shop, but this is the closest that you can get for information for building your business. But your wife happens to be sitting close by, and now you can better understand and have an appreciation for all those clean towels that are in there. But anyways, so you were saying, going back to the question that I asked you, what do you think people would be most, if I were to follow you around, and you're saying, like, what would they be shocked by most, other than you saying, like, specifically that you have your hands in a lot of different baskets because you do a lot of different jobs that people don't necessarily see a finished product?
I think they would probably be surprised at how well I handle pressure. And I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that because things come at you all day as a business owner that you never see coming. And you just have to deal with it. You can't show that it's bothering you, because how you react to things or how you let it affect you, it will spill over into the culture. So you have to make sure that no matter what, like, your team can look to you as a source of stability and as something that's steady. Yeah, because they're trusting you with their income.
Because they're on your ship.
Right.
You're the captain of the ship.
Right.
If the captain's scared of this storm, you probably should be scared too.
Yeah.
But
and we're all in trouble.
The captain's seen a few storms.
Right.
Right. If you think about it, like in a ship, that Captain Blackbeard. No, it's like he's a pirate. But let's just say like random stuff. But like if the captain's scared, I analogies if you haven't noticed, because I feel like sometimes analogies are a great way to be able to understand the perspective a little bit better, because sometimes you're trying to think like, what does that mean? How does that apply to my business? But if you're freaking out for a particular thing, like, or even budgets, okay, like if we run into a budget issue, like sometimes there could be a budget deficit or surplus or whatever. Hey, surplus is a great thing, but let's just say like maybe things are getting a little bit tight in an area, and if you're freaking out, if you've already been there, done that, and you know, okay, hey, we've been there, we are going to be fine, we're going to do, and we're going to use this, we're going to make a plan, we've already been there, we're going to move forward, we're going to build a plan to be even more stable. But if you're worried as the business owner, your team's going to be worried, because then they're going to start looking to think like, maybe this isn't the right ship to be on, because my captain doesn't really know where he's steering us. He doesn't really know what in the world to do. And then they're feeling like there's no stability on that ship for them and their families, because again, whatever you do as a business owner is going to affect not only the employee that you have, but their families.
Yeah, you always have to portray an image of confidence, and not only like what you're doing, but confidence in your team, confidence that they can lean on you, confidence that they can trust you to make these hard decisions. I've said before, owning a business is just making hard decisions every single day, like one after another. Every decision is make or break most of the time.
Yeah.
And so you have to learn how to make the right decisions.
And then hopefully your team is equipped with answering all the other things, and then you end up getting the hard ones. Like there's the everyday things that your team already is equipped for to know how to handle, and then there's the one-offs that come, and then your team brings to you to be like, okay, this happened, or this situation, what do we do now? And then you make a plan from there. But you were talking about.
Well, I want to go back to my day to day.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go to.
Okay.
That's where I was going to go.
I just want to make sure we were going to hit that again.
Hey, you only hit a little bit of the nail on the head.
Yes.
So tell me more about what your day goes by. You were just talking about like how well you handle pressure, and then what else?
Well, it's not. I'll tell you about how, like, more of the week. We'll zoom out a little bit to the week. On my calendar every week, I have a schedule. Some weeks I hit the schedule, and some weeks I don't.
And then you feel great.
And then some weeks I don't hit them at all. I don't hit what I'm supposed to do. Like, I have time blocked out to be creative, to help grow the business or come up with ideas. I have time blocked out for team meetings or whatever, whatever that I want to accomplish that week. I try to block out time for it and use all of my time wisely. But you come in the door, and then
like
someone hits you with a question. No,
okay,
me.
You, okay.
I come in the door in the morning, and then someone hits you with a question. Hey, where are we at? What happened with this? And so then you either answer the question or you deflect to whoever you need to handle that. And then you sit down. Then the phone rings. Your cell phone rings. Hey, I need to order this and this and this. Well, if you're like me, when I first started my business, everybody had my cell phone and they would call me, and that's how I took orders.
Because we couldn't take a chance of not answering the phone.
Yeah,
call.
You got to answer the phone.
Like it could be 10 o'clock at night, but we needed that business.
Yeah.
So there was just
you answer the phone. That's what you do.
But those are the ones that all still have your phone.
Yes.
But they're still customers. Thank God.
Yes, they are.
Because you give stellar service.
I had one just this past week. He was like, hey, I need a truck done, blah, blah, blah. And I have trained my team. Like, we have a very strict process that we follow whenever an order comes in so that it doesn't get dropped. So the proper follow-up is there. All the information is there. Everything is packaged nicely.
But we know that because there were times that things got dropped. So that's when it came to you personally.
I would drop the ball like crazy because I was trying to do a lot of things.
When you started to grow, initially you're on task and you're just getting everybody who was coming to you. So when you were building the business, every phone call got answered, every job got done. But there's a part where you're trying to sustain what you had and then grow. And as you were growing, you had to learn to delegate so that things didn't get dropped. And
so, so that will throw you off. And then you have, you got to do accounting stuff. Like you have to look at the books. You have to make sure. So it's just, taxes, insurance, workers' comp. Yeah, there's a letter comes in and it's,
compliance
something,
letters.
and you're
You
just
got to
like,
have
oh,
this,
so
or
now
the
you got to,
government wants this, or
it's just a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot of things that you have to do. And as a business owner, it's a lot of things that you didn't really sign up to do in the first place.
or that you didn't realize that would be part of your job,
Yeah.
because you thought that you were just going to run this wrap shop or this vinyl shop or this sign shop, that you were
Yeah.
just going to get to do your hobby and make money off of it. And then you
Mhm.
realize, wow, in order for me to make money, I have to have people. And when I have people, now I have more responsibility. And now I have more responsibility than you have the government.
And I try to delegate what I can, but there's some things that only a business owner can take care of.
Right.
And so those are the things that they're non-negotiable. You have to take care of these things if you want to keep growing and keep your team afloat and all these
Right.
things. And that can be a lot of things. I mean, it's just there's so many different things that I do throughout the day that you didn't really plan on doing,
Mhm.
but you by default do. And it's really hard. And I know you hear everybody say, well, you have to run the business. You can't let the business run you.
Mhm.
That is true. But part of that is it's just unavoidable, honestly.
I think part of it is that you're just having to adapt to that's, I think it's really more of an adaptability, that you're able to roll with the punches. That what I mean by, sorry, I think I need a drink. Did I bring a drink? Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
My love. I'm gonna have to.
But yeah,
have a
so
little bit of a dry throat.
I know we hear a lot like you can't let the business run you, and that is certainly like what we strive for. And as a business owner, like you try to build all these systems and have all these employees in place so that doesn't happen. So you don't have to do everything.
Mhm.
But like I said before, there are some decisions and some tasks that only you can do as the business owner. And a lot of them, they're not planned.
Mhm.
You get a letter in the mail, you get a customer that you have to settle down. You have, a job that didn't go like
As
you wanted
planned.
it to.
Yeah.
And so you have to,
Or you got this
figure
new
out how to
opportunity,
adapt,
and
or you
it's
have an opportunity and you have to drop everything you're doing because it's an opportunity to grow.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people who don't run a business don't really understand that part of it as much.
Mhm.
Um, I try to be protective of my time as much as possible, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to
Mhm.
keep it going,
Mhm.
and not just keep it going, but actually grow.
Right.
You've got to seize on these opportunities that come at you, and you can't just say, "Oh, well, that's not on my schedule today, so I can't."
Mhm.
Can we do it next week? No. If somebody's calling you and they have a contract or they have this business opportunity and they're hot, like you got to jump on it.
Right.
And so everything else will just have to wait.
Mhm.
But then the things that had to wait, now you're doing
That were
them.
scheduled. Now you've got to figure.
Now
a
you
new
got to figure out
schedule
where
for
to
those.
fit those in.
Mhm.
And usually it's either at night or early in the morning, and you're trying to juggle everything. And it's just, there's just a lot.
And you don't have a finished product at the end of the day that you can say, yes, I did it. Other than your business is still afloat.
Yeah.
It's still there. Everybody still has a job. You still have customers coming in the door.
Right.
And
But the team, for me, the team is the finished product. Like the team that I'm building, and then the business itself, that is the finished product. I think it was Dan Martell who says, as a business owner, it's your job to build the team, and it's the team's job to build the product.
Mhm.
And so that's what I try to keep in perspective. And as long as my team is functioning well and the culture is great and things are good with them and I'm supporting them,
Mhm.
then I'm okay.
So just going back, most of your day, you're making decisions.
Yeah.
You're having to deal with the pressures of the day and holding it together, being stable. You're helping the employees. You're talking with your customers. You're planning. You're problem solving. You're trying to remove obstacles so that everyone else can do their jobs. So the higher you grow, the less your job becomes doing the work. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. As owners, your value is going to shift. And value meaning like what the value that you brought to the table, maybe as a good installer or a good designer, like that's going to shift. Early on, I was the installer, the salesperson, the designer, the production manager. I was everything. And so that is all going to shift. And now the most valuable thing that I can do as an owner is to make sure that everyone else has what they need on the team to succeed, so they can do all the things that you used to do and do
Right.
them very well.
So if someone's listening and they're having one of those weeks right now, what would you tell them?
I would say don't waste it. Don't waste the hard week.
You just have to
Seriously,
look in the camera and
the
say that
hard,
so then they know.
don't waste the hard week. The hard weeks, they're expensive, and you're going to pay for them one way or another. And so something you learn from, ask yourself, like, was a system broke? Was a process broke? What conversation have I been avoiding? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't waste it. Let it be a teaching moment. Let it be something that becomes a lesson that you can not avoid. Bless you. That you can, so you can avoid it in the future. And every challenge teaches us something new. And whenever I look back to the things that I was worried about like 5 years ago, I don't worry about those things as much anymore, because I've learned to kind of adapt, and I've learned to grow and to become moldable and teachable in those things.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that actually that those weeks, those bad weeks,
Mm-hmm.
or those challenging weeks, week of problems, however you want to say it, do you think that those help to shape a great business?
I do. Nobody becomes a great business owner because everything always went right. Great owners are built by learning how to respond when things go wrong, typically.
I always think of that like quote that you had, that adversity quote, but I can't remember earlier. Do you remember what it is?
Yep. It's one of my favorite quotes. It says, adversity will cause some men to break, but will cause others to break records. So that's it.
So there's your challenge.
I love
for the
that
week.
quote. I love that quote.
Okay. So I have a final question for you.
Yep.
After nearly 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
2006 is when you started.
Has it really been that long?
We're in 2026. Yeah. And we're doing good.
We're thriving.
Yeah. We're living our glory days.
We're in our prime. It's our prime.
Anyways, so what keeps you excited about tomorrow?
Just looking back on the things that we have built as a family, as a team, and excited to see like what the future holds and what we can conquer, like moving forward. And I really love when I see my team succeed, not in the business, but in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where
I
and I both share that.
I love watching people grow and be successful, and I love being a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I see them thriving in their life, and I see them growing, and I see them learning, and I see them moving up on their skill set.
Not just in their abilities or within the job. You're talking about in their life, where they're achieving some of their goals.
When they buy that first house, whenever they get,
or they got the car that they wanted, and or they're able to do the birthday party or whatever it is that their goal is.
That's what keeps me going. Or
even like we have an event coming up that we're able to be supportive and helping a foundation that one of your team members, their wife, is part of, and they sponsor. I'm just waiting because I didn't know if you were going to jump in at any point, so that's why I'm kind of like.
Well, we're gonna have a watch party for the World Cup, and
but I didn't know if you want to talk about the watch party, but I'm just going to talk about more about like what we have a member of our team, and then his wife. She works with a nonprofit called Northbound.
Northbound, yeah.
And it's really great because it's something that his wife, she doesn't work for Rap Sync, but he does. And one way to help him is to help his wife. So we have an opportunity that we're able to host a watch party here at our shop. And, we already have a facility. We already have tables. We already have chairs. We have TVs. We have different things that we're able to use. And it helps her do what it is that she loves and enjoys and has a heart for. And so I think that is what friends and family are.
Yeah.
And our team is that it's helping each other in those life instances and just, rallying around. And the great thing is that this is something that she's doing, but then other people are calling me and saying, hey, how can we get involved? What can we do? Or, hey, I'm coming, I'm planning on bringing this, or I'm planning on doing that. And that's really cool. And I like to let her know whenever I'm hearing about it, because it's just like, it's exciting, but that's also a way that we can be supportive of, of not only her, but of him,
right,
and their family. So anyways, in closing, do you have any words for us?
I think if there's one thing that I would want you to take away from this episode and this podcast, is that don't judge your business by like one difficult week or day or month. Every successful company has them, and every successful person has them. And the difference is what you choose to do with them. You can use the pressure to improve your systems. You can use the mistakes to become a better business leader. You can use the challenges to build a stronger business and a stronger environment. And because one day you'll look back and you'll realize that those weren't the weeks that almost broke you really, but they were the ones that kind of built you and made you able to adapt and to kind of roll with the punches. And one thing that I always would joke about with Tabitha is whenever a mistake would happen or something would be like costly, I would say, well, I didn't go to college. I didn't pay, to go to college. I didn't have to pay a tuition. I'm not paying on student loans, but I just learned like a $5,000 mistake. So there's my college, because I won't make that mistake again. And so those mistakes can really be like a tuition, I guess. That's you're paying your dues. Like you are learning. You're learning something that
you're learning how to survive.
Some people will have to pay to learn, like you're learning it in real life.
Yeah.
And so I think if I had to leave anybody with anything, it would just be like, don't let the little things get you down. They're going to happen, and you just have to roll with the punches and just know that tomorrow the sun is going to shine.
It's a new day.
Right. I remember we were on a really tough install with one of our guys a couple years ago, and they were just getting frustrated. And I said, listen, you have to think about it this way. No matter what happens, it's going to get dark tonight, and we're going to have to go inside, and this job's going to end at some point. We're going to get it done at some point because it has to be done. And he's like, yeah, I guess when you put it like that, it's going to end. So the pain that you're feeling, the frustration that you're feeling of running a business, the challenges that you're facing, they're going to come and go. They're not always going to be there. But I would just say appreciate the days that you have it easy, and reflect on those days and really just take those in, because the hard days will come.
Yeah.
But you just got to learn from them.
And when you have those hard days, don't look back and just like, I wish it was like that again. I don't wish. Just take a deep breath, inhale.
Right.
And roll with the punches.
Yep. It's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right. Tomorrow's a new day. Well, thank you so much for joining our podcast today.
Yep. All right, guys. We hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
This is the Million